chapter number 7, Structural Organization in Animals. In this chapter, till now we have finished the 3 important tissues: epithelial tissue, connective tissue and the muscular tissue. Today we have to learn regarding the next tissue, what we are calling it as nervous tissue. Okay, so today we will learn regarding the last kind of a tissue that found in the animal. It's called as a nervous tissue. See, what is the function of this nervous tissue? The nervous tissue, that is, sends the impulses and responds towards it. Even they are also responsible for the processing of a nerve impulse. That is the function of this nervous tissue. Now in this nervous tissue, there are 2 kinds of a cell you can find in the nervous tissue. The first one is called as a neuron and the second one is called as neuroglia. Okay, how many types of the cells you can find in the nervous tissue? There are 2 types of the cells you can find in the nervous tissue. First is called as a neuron and the second one is called as a neuroglia. This neuron can also be called as the nerve cell and it forms the structural and the functional unit of a nervous system. So what is called as the structural and functional unit of nervous system? The structural and the functional unit of nervous system is the neuron or the nerve cell. So majority of it contains the neuron or the nerve cell. The remaining other type of the cells you can also find in the nervous tissue and they are the neuroglia. Okay, so these are the other kind of cells you can find that forms supporting framework in the nervous tissue. Now today we have to learn regarding this structural and functional unit of nervous system and that is a neuron. So let us discuss regarding the structure of a neuron. So if you see that the neuron or the nerve cell, this neuron or the nerve cell, it consists of the cyton, dendrites and axon. Clear? So the nerve cell or the neuron is composed of cyton, dendrites and the axon. So we will learn each part of this nerve cell or the neuron. Starting with the first part of nerve cell or the neuron, that is the cyton. So what is called as a cyton? So neuron or the nerve cell is nothing, just it's like a cell. It consists of a cyton or a cell body. So this is called as a cyton. What it is called? It's called as a cyton. Okay? Cyton is nothing but it's just a cell body. It's like the cell which you can find in the other kind of a tissue. It is a cell. Okay? So this is called as a cyton. Like a other cell, it also contains the nucleus. The nucleus is present within it. And it also contains the organelles which is present inside it. But before we will discuss the organelles and the other components, I just want to say that the cyton or the cell body, it can be of different shapes. So what are the different shapes of this cyton or the cell body? The cyton, it may be an oval, or it may be a spherical, or it may be a star shape. Okay, so these are the different shapes of a cyton or the cell body can be found. Here I have drawn a cyton of a star shape. Okay, so this is called as a star shaped cyton. Like this cyton or the cell body contains a nucleus usually found in the center of this cell body. Now, like other cell, it also contains the cytoplasm. Okay, here the rest of the portion that is occupied by the cytoplasm. And the cytoplasm of this nerve cell, we are calling it as neuroplasm. What we are calling? It's called as neuroplasm. So surrounding to a nucleus at the boundary of a cyton, there is a presence of a cytoplasm. This cytoplasm is called as a neuroplasm. Okay. Now, what this neuroplasm contains? The neuroplasm contains the different other organelles like ear, Golgi body, mitochondria, etc. The different organelles can be found in it. And apart from that, it also contains darkly stained basophilic granules. Such kind of a dark stained basophilic granules are found. This dark stained basophilic granules, I am showing over here. The dark stained basophilic granules, showing over here, this one. This dark stained basophilic granules, we are calling it as Nissan's granules. Okay, what it is called? It's called as a Nissen's granule. So what is called as a Nissen's granule? Nissen's granules, they are the dark stained, means it can be stained. It is basophilic, so it's stained with a basophilic basic dye. Okay, the dark stained basophilic substance present in the nucleoplasm. This is called as the Nissen's granule. Okay, so this is the components you can find in it. So again repeat, you know that in the nervous tissue, the main structural and functional unit of nervous tissue is the neuron or the nerve cell. The other kind of a cell you can find is the neuroglia. The neuron or the nerve cell, it consists of cytone, dendrites and the axon. We have started with the first component called as a cytone. Cytone can also be called as cell body. This cytone or the cell body can be of different shapes like oval, spherical, star shape. Here it is a star shaped cytone or cell body. In the center of this cytone there is a presence of nucleus. Nucleus is surrounded by the cytoplasm. Okay, cytoplasm of this nerve or neuron, it's called as a neuroplasm. Okay, that also contains endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body and so on. Okay. It also contains dark stained basophilic granules or substances, what we are calling as Nissen's granules. Okay, so this is regarding the cytone. Now apart from this cytone, it also contains the dendrites and the axons. The dendrites and the axons, they are commonly called as processes. These processes that arises from the cytone. Okay, so what it contains? The dendrites and the axon, they are the processes which arises from the cytone or the cell body. Okay, so there are two kinds of the processes they arises. One first kind, it's called as a dendrite, like this. Clear? These are the kind of processes that arises from it. These are the kinds of processes that arise, and this is the another kind of the process that arises from it. Clear? So the processes that arises from the cytone, one kind of the process, we are calling it as dendrites. They are calling it as dendrites. And this one, it's called as axon, the another kind of a processes. So in short, the dendrites and the axons, they are the processes that arises from the cytone or the cell body. Now what are the characteristics of these dendrites and the axons? The characteristics of the dendrites are such that you can say that they are short. You can see they are short. This one is a long, but these dendrites are the short. Okay, they are tapered. They are tapered. Means here they are tapering. The narrowing end it forms. Okay. Then it is a branched. It is branched. Okay. So this is the characteristic what we can find. Short, tapered, and the branched processes that arises from the cell body. Okay, this what we are calling it as dendrites. These dendrites are usually many numbers. They are many in number. Here we have shown 3. 1, 2, 3. They are many in numbers. So this is the characteristic what we can find regarding the dendrites. Now what are the characteristics of this axon? Dendrites are short, but this axon, you can see that it is a long. So it is a long. Clear? It is a cylindrical. It is not a tapered, it is a cylindrical. Even it is not a branched, so it is unbranched. And it is a single, means there is only a one axon is present. Okay, so this is called as an axon. So what is the difference between the two different kind of the processes that arises from the cell body or the cytone? Two kind of the processes that arise, dendrites and the axon, but the dendrites are short. Axon is a long. Dendrites are tapered. Here you can see a narrow end, whereas the axon it's a cylindrical. The dendrites are branched. Branches are going to be formed, whereas the axon it is an unbranched. Dendrites are many in number, but the axons they are single usually. So this is the differences between the processes that arises from the cytone or the cell body. We are calling as dendrites and the axons. So this is a structure of this nervous tissue. Now apart from this axon, there are two kind of nerve fibers are there. This neuron can be of two types based on the covering that is surrounding to an axon. They are two types. First is called as myelinated and the second one is called as non-myelinated. There are two types. First is called as myelinated and the second one is called as non-myelinated. What is called as a myelinated? If it is covered with a particular sheath, covering sheath. Okay, this is called as a myelin sheath. Okay, myelin is a fatty substance, a white, shiny, fatty substance. If it is surrounded to this axon, then this is called as myelinated nerve fiber or the myelinated neurons. And if this is absent, a white, shiny myelin sheath is absent, then it is called as non-myelinated nerve fibers. Okay, myelin is actually a fat chemically and it is acting as a insulating material. It's acting as an insulating material which is surrounding to it. So this is the characteristic what we can found into it. So based on the presence or absence of this myelin sheath, there are two types of the neurons are there, myelinated and the non-myelinated nerve fibers. In a myelinated nerve fibers, the myelin sheath provide an insulation because the impulse travel at very fast speed and this myelin sheath acting as an insulation and prevent a disbursement of this impulse to a surrounding tissues. You know that when you touch to a hot surface, immediately you come to know, in the millisecond fraction, you come to know that it's hot and even you are able to respond. So how it occurs? Because the traveling of the nerve impulse is occurring at a very high speed and to prevent a disbursement to other tissues, it is insulated. Okay, and that is insulated by the myelin sheath. Apart from that, there are other cells which are also surrounded to it. What we are calling it as Schwann cells. Schwann cells are also present in it. Okay, like such kind of a cells are present. Schwann cells are present. They are the cells containing the nucleus. Clear, the nucleus is present. Clear? Apart from that, if you see that, the most important thing is, here you can find the constriction, this constriction. This is the constriction. At regular interval you can find the constriction. And I am writing its name over here. This constriction, it's called as node of Ranvier. What is called as? It's called as a node of Ranvier, which is the constriction that is found at the regular interval in the structure of an axon. Okay? And this myelin is also surrounded by the specialized cells, what we call it as Schwann cells. Okay, that also contains the nucleus. So this is regarding the structure of neuron or the nerve cell. Okay, so here we have finished with 4 different kinds of tissues that found in the animal: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue, and the nervous tissue. In the next session, we will start the organ and the organ system organization in earthworm. So till then students, keep learning, keep watching, like and subscribe this channel. Thank you for watching.